When we speak of life, most people imagine a smooth trajectory, an upward slope of progress, happiness, and success. From childhood, we are conditioned to believe that if we follow certain steps, success is guaranteed and pain can be avoided. But life is not a factory with a linear assembly line. It is a living, breathing phenomenon. It doesn't obey the rules of our minds. It dances to its own rhythm, sometimes wild, sometimes calm. It has its own intelligence, and it doesn't need your permission to surprise you. You may have 100 plans for tomorrow. You may calculate every detail. Your income, your relationships, your health, your achievements. But life doesn't move on your calculations. It moves by its own complexity. One moment everything seems fine. The next moment, a storm arrives unannounced. This is not life being cruel. This is just life being life. Your suffering begins only when you expect it to be predictable, when you resist its raw, untamed nature. A river never flows in a straight line. It twists, turns, crashes against rocks, and carves its own path through mountains. In the same way, if you are alive and alert, you will notice that the most powerful moments of life are not the ones you planned, but the ones that happen beyond your control. These unplanned events, the heartbreaks, the failures, the unexpected losses, are not detours. They are the real journey. Only those who are willing to flow with the river understand the full beauty of its course. What causes pain is not that life changed suddenly. It is that you thought it never would. You became attached to a fixed image of how things should be. You became addicted to certainty, to comfort, to patterns. But life is not a machine. It is an organism. It changes, it adapts, it evolves, and it expects you to do the same. If you are rigid in a flexible world, you will break. But if you learn to bend, you will grow in ways your logic cannot comprehend. So many people think they are victims of life, when in truth, they are victims of their own expectations. They blame fate, karma, or others, but the reality is they simply expected a smooth ride through a forest. The forest doesn't care about your path. It only offers mystery. You can either walk through it with fear and resistance or embrace it with wonder and awareness. The unpredictability is not a problem. Your need for control is. We often speak of transformation as if it is a gentle unfolding, a soft blooming of the self. But real transformation is rarely so tender. It is not a cosmetic change. It is a fundamental dismantling of what you think you are. Just as a seed must crack and split to become a tree, something within you must break for something greater to emerge. Comfort never caused anyone to grow. It only maintains what already exists. It is discomfort, that sharp edge of uncertainty and pain, that becomes the crucible for true change. If you look at nature, every stage of profound change is preceded by destruction. The caterpillar doesn't just grow wings. It dissolves inside its cocoon, becomes unrecognizable before taking flight. The volcano erupts before it reshapes the land. The forest burns, and only then do new shoots begin to rise. Why do we believe our inner journey should be any different? When life pulls you apart, when the old parts of you fall away, perhaps it is not a breakdown. It is a preparation for your becoming. Discomfort is not your enemy, it is your mirror. It reflects all the illusions you hold tightly. It shows you what you still cling to. security, ego, identity, false power. And when it takes those things from you, it feels like loss. But in reality, it is space being made for something deeper to grow. You cannot hold on to your limitations and expect expansion. Something must be shed. Often, what hurts is not life itself, but the tearing away of what no longer serves you. The problem is most people want transformation without disruption. They want to feel different without being different. But it doesn't work that way. You cannot build a new structure on the old foundation. The old has to go, sometimes with grace, often with fire. And the fire will not ask for your permission. It will burn what must be burned. Your only choice is whether you resist it and suffer, or surrender to it and rise. There is a silent intelligence in destruction. The storm may appear chaotic, but it clears the air. The flood may seem merciless, but it nourishes the soil. In the same way, when you are shaken, when everything you knew begins to collapse, understand something deeper is being reordered. You are not being punished. You are being reformed. And this reformation often comes wrapped in discomfort because the ego is stubborn and the soul is subtle. Strength is not something that falls from the sky. It is not inherited. It is not gifted. It is forged. Just as iron becomes steel only when it has faced intense heat, your inner strength emerges only when you pass through trials that demand more than what you think you have. People wish for strength, yet avoid every situation that could actually build it. But strength is not built in the moments of ease. It is born in the times when life throws you down and you learn how to stand up again, not just physically, but mentally and energetically. If you observe nature, the tallest trees grow in places where winds are strong and conditions are harsh. Their roots go deep not because the soil is kind, but because the weather is unforgiving. The same applies to the human spirit. If everything in life was handed to you on a silver plate, you would never know who you truly are. You would live delicately, afraid of disturbance, untested and unaware. But the person who has walked through fire and has not turned bitter, that person carries a power that is silent, solid, and unshakable. Hardship is the training ground of the soul. Each difficulty is like a weight added to your inner muscles. You may feel tired. You may want to quit. But if you keep walking, you will realize that the pain was not in vain. It was sculpting you. Every challenge life places before you is an invitation to discover a strength you didn't know you possessed. The more you embrace the challenge rather than escape it, the more grace you generate within yourself. We often think strength means not breaking, not bending. But true strength is the capacity to bend without breaking, to cry without collapsing, to feel everything fully and yet still move forward. That kind of strength comes not from books, not from sermons, but from living life completely, with open eyes, open heart, and an unflinching presence. It comes from falling and rising again and again with dignity and awareness. It's not loud, it doesn't shout, it simply is. So when hardship comes, don't be in a hurry to remove it. Don't rush to cover it with distractions or deny its presence. Let it work on you. Let it peel the layers you've built out of fear. Let it make you raw, real, and ready. For only then will you see your strength was never in your armor, but in your willingness to walk through life unguarded, fully alive, even when it hurts. Pain is an inevitable part of being human. The body feels pain, the mind experiences pain, the heart knows pain. It is how we are wired. You may cut your hand, lose a loved one, or watch your dreams fall apart. These are real events, and they hurt. Pain is life's way of showing us we are alive, sensitive, and connected. It is natural, necessary, and even intelligent. But suffering is a choice. It is not embedded in the event. It is added by the mind after the event has passed. There is a difference between pain and suffering that most people never recognize. Pain is in the moment, suffering is in the memory. Pain comes like a wave. It rises, peaks, and fades. Suffering is the mind clinging to that wave long after it's gone. You get hurt once, but you remember it 1,000 times. You lose someone once, but you grieve them for decades. You fail once, but you replay it endlessly in your imagination. This repetition is not life doing it to you. This is you doing it to yourself. When you experience pain and meet it with awareness, it transforms. You see it as energy, not punishment. But when pain is resisted, questioned, judged, or feared, it becomes suffering. The mind builds a story around it. Why me? What did I do wrong? This should not have happened. That story becomes a cage. The more you feed it, the more it traps you. Suddenly, a moment of pain becomes a lifetime of emotional imprisonment. And still, we blame life, karma, people, anything but our own unconscious habits. Freedom from suffering does not come by avoiding pain, but by accepting pain without resistance. It is the resistance that creates the friction. Pain simply arises and passes. It is a wave of sensation or emotion. If you allow it fully, without flinching, without naming, without labeling, you will find that it moves through you, not against you. But if you tighten, question, or react, that movement stops. And in that stagnation, suffering is born. When a child falls and scrapes their knee, they cry, and within moments they're playing again. The pain came, the tears came, and it passed. But adults cling. They hold the wound in their memory, make an identity out of it, talk about it, and relive it. This is not maturity. This is entanglement. Maturity means feeling the pain completely and letting it go. Not because you are cold, but because you are clear. Pain is unavoidable. Suffering is not. Every challenge you face in life comes with a certain intensity, a pressure, a disruption of the known. In that moment, it may feel chaotic or even threatening. But if you step back and observe closely, what you're truly encountering is not a curse. It is raw energy. It is unshaped potential. Life is not throwing problems at you. It is handing you tools, albeit in uncomfortable packaging. Most people spend their lives running from this energy or complaining about its weight, never realizing it is this very friction that could ignite transformation if approached consciously. Energy is neutral until you give it direction. A strong gust of wind can knock you down, or it can turn a windmill and generate power. The difference lies not in the wind, but in your orientation toward it. In the same way, the energy of a challenge, whether it's loss, failure, rejection, or uncertainty, can push you into despair, or it can be harnessed into focus, clarity, and strength. But for that to happen, you must stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, How can I use this to deepen who I am? If you look at the lives of people who have truly risen beyond the average, not just in success, but in presence, you will find that every one of them faced enormous challenges. What set them apart is not that life spared them, but that they learned how to shape their adversity into growth. They did not curse the fire, they walked through it and came out forged. Each challenge, when met with awareness, becomes a sculptor's hand, chipping away at what is false, revealing the essence beneath. But this can only happen if you stop reacting and start responding. Reaction means the challenge controls you. Response means you are using the challenge as material. When life presses hard, you can either collapse or you can choose to hold steady, breathe deeper, and allow a different intelligence to move through you. In that gap between reaction and response lies the possibility of turning raw pain into refined wisdom, chaos into creativity, pressure into purpose. Most people wait for inspiration to act, but life is always offering inspiration, just not in the form they expect. Challenges are that inspiration in disguise. They push you out of the familiar. They corner you into discovering a deeper part of yourself. But to access that, you must see every challenge as energy, wild, untamed, and deeply alive. It is not there to punish you. It is there to awaken something dormant within you that comfort would never stir.